Back now with more about the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. Crystal's mom, Sherry Ballard, is here, along with Crystal's sister, Brooke Bryan. Crystal's stories are re-examined in a new Oxygen series called The Disappearance of Crystal Rogers. And also joining us today are co-hosts Stephanie Bauer and Dwayne Stanton, a former detective with more than 750 homicide investigations under his belt and a 92% success rate. So it's good that you're involved in this, taking a look, not as official business, but as journalists really looking into the case. Let me just ask you, Sherry, so your husband was he was kind of the lead investigator on it, doing more than anyone, and suddenly he winds up shot to death.
Yes, ma'am. Allegedly
while hunting in what is being characterized as a death investigation now by the police there. Do you believe that it was an accidental shooting?
No. I've been told it wasn't accidental, and I know the moment I got the phone call that it wasn't accidental. The police told us we're dealing with some very dangerous people, to be careful, and my husband was being followed. He told me that before, but we had to do what we had to do to find my daughter. And that morning he was just hunting on our farm with my grandson. My grandson was standing right beside him when it happened.
Oh my goodness. That was just a technical thing. Sorry, it was an ill-timed technical thing. A light popped. I'm sorry. That was kind of scary. So, I mean, what do you believe happened here? What do you believe happened?
I believe someone wanted my husband out of the way. I think my husband was getting close. They knew my husband would never give up looking for my daughter. And I think he was a threat to them. And
so you think it was the same person who you believe took your daughter's life?
In my opinion, I honestly do.
I mean, of course, they're considering Brooks Houck, the Crystal's live-in boyfriend. We did get a statement from him. He said as follows from his lawyer: Mr. Houck has repeatedly, vehemently, and publicly denied any wrongdoing in connection with the tragic disappearance of Crystal Rogers and the death of her father. I've advised him that submitting to further interviews would serve no purpose and may further the pain to Miss Rogers' family, who unfortunately seems focused on him as a suspect. Well, the police have also called him a suspect. And his brother, who was on the police force, actually took a lie detector test and reportedly failed. So they haven't been able to make an arrest in the case, but they're obviously looking at these two. Dwayne, let me start with you on it. Why do you think they're not openly saying that the investigation into Crystal's dad's death is a homicide investigation, is a murder investigation?
According to law enforcement on that particular case, they just don't know 100% that it is a homicide. The theory does present itself that it could be an accident. Mm-hmm. It has to be proven one way or the other, and they just haven't done that yet.
Stephanie, this series gets into not just the details of this case, and they're so far beyond what we could cover in these two blocks, but 3 other unsolved murders in this small, little, perfect town. Do you believe, is the theory that they might be connected somehow?
Well, to be honest, when we arrived in town, beautiful town, a year ago, you can't imagine that all this tragedy has happened. But as soon as we got there, it was apparent. But you wonder, are these crimes connected? There was the murder of a Bardstown police officer, Jason Ellis, an ambush-style murder. Then following that, a year later, a mother and daughter are brutally murdered in their home. Then, of course, Crystal goes missing and Tommy is murdered. The fact that these could even happen in this small town is shocking. And when we got there, spent a lot of time there, the townspeople say, we think it's connected. This is not coincidences. One leads to another, and everyone's afraid.
Dwayne, could it be a coincidence?
I don't believe in coincidences in criminal investigation. Any good detective would tell you there is no such thing as a coincidence in criminal investigation. So, no, I don't.
What about the box of evidence that your husband left behind? He left behind his clues that he didn't really want to give to law enforcement, but you have them.
The box is huge. We had access to the box thanks to Sherry and her family. I've never seen anyone in my career put together so much information, detailed information, and I talk about this in the series, categorize information, and Tommy put it together in such a way that it was easy to follow. And I'm sure when he put it together, he didn't know that we would be looking at it. But the few things that did come up that we didn't understand, we would go to Sherry, we would go to Brooke, or we go to Casey and say, hey, what does this mean? And they could explain it to us. It was amazing what he did.
It's incredible, the aha moments he provided for
Absolutely.
you. And so sort of in a way has passed the baton so that this investigation stays open and that justice is brought to whoever took Crystal and whoever, if anybody, murdered your husband. Thank you all. And
Thank you.
Check out the series. Do want to tell you we reached out to the Kentucky State Police Department. They say they're actively investigating, but due to the nature of the open and ongoing investigations, they cannot discuss any details or updates. They say we've dedicated 2 full-time seasoned detectives to all of these cases in the Bardstown area. All the best to you guys. Good luck with it. Check it out on Oxygen. It's called The Disappearance of Crystal Rogers this Saturday. Again, on Oxygen. We'll be right back.